Hello, welcome to another video. In this video, I want to talk about how to not care what people think about you. And the reason that you care is because you have an ego, or more accurately, you're attached to your ego. You're attached to your reputation. You believe it to be important. You believe your identity to be serving you. And the reason that we care so much is because we fear the loss of our identity. Our greatest fear is not existing. And the trick that our ego plays is making us think that we are somewhat special, somewhat important. And even as I'm saying this, notice your reaction. Notice that I'm saying that you're not important. Is that what I'm saying? Am I insulting your level of status, where you should be fit in the world? And the reason you care is because you're preserving some kind of illusionary image that you do so well to hold up every day. So the way that you stop caring is realize fundamentally there is no you. There is no you to protect. There's nothing to protect. And even if you do successfully protect it, it will be forgotten within a couple of days, a couple of weeks. That version of you changes all the time. That version of you changes. Whenever you're with your family, it's different to the version of you that goes to work, or the version of you that you take on a date, or the version of you that self-attacks and has the inner critic. All of this is an illusion, and all of this on some level is to protect you. So the thing that cares is also causing you damage. And what people worry about when I say this, or when you hear this kind of advice, or when you hear this idea that there is no you, is that, well, how can I operate in the world? So just as a thought experiment, go with it. Realize that you are not your identity. You're not your job. You're not your bank account. You're not the status that you're trying to protect. You're not some reputation. Go with that idea. Because that's the idea. That's what's causing all of the trouble in the world. This ego. And not necessarily the ego. Everybody has an ego. And by ego, I mean identity. You have your name, your job, your title, what you feel about yourself. You have that. You're not going to get rid of that. But it's important to not take that so seriously. It's the people that cling to their ego that have the most trouble. They feel like they have to get revenge and they have to prove a point. And that's why they get so upset if somebody insults them or challenges their political ideology. And it's the clinging and it's the grasping that causes all the trouble. You can have passions and beliefs and thoughts about yourself. There's no problem with that. It's just the conviction that causes the problem. And you'll notice this with narcissistic people. Narcissistic people and very self-centered people, and people who are so lost in their idea, this idea of themselves, don't realize they're doing it. So the opposite of that is detachment. People that are detached have a lot less fear because they're not trying to protect some illusionary self-image all the time. And I know this seems, it seems easier said than done. That's the next question. Oh, this is just so much easier said than done, Joe. But it's your precious little ego that you're protecting that gets so upset, or is so, not even upset, but so worried. It's just the anticipation of that diminishing of your self-identity. That's why you don't go and speak to women that you want to speak to. That's why you don't go for job interviews or put yourself out there. It's always this anticipation of that diminishment. Not even the actual rejection, but the fear of the fear. And it's crazy because everybody's living like this. Nobody's actually trying. And it's all because of this attachment to this idea. What if you look stupid? So letting go then is detaching. How do we detach? We observe. We notice. We notice when the slings and arrows of life, these mini betrayals, these little slights we get, we start to notice when it pushes against that. How dare they? I saw a guy in the coffee shop the other day getting so angry because they forgot his order. And when you really think about that, when you really look at that, we've all had that experience. We've all done something kind of very petty like that. But when you really analyze that, the thought process is normally not, I want my coffee. It's normally something to do with, how can they disrespect me so much? How can they forget me? Am I worthless? Am I nobody? The peaceful and path of no resistance to that is, yeah, you are nobody. That's fine. You don't need to be anybody. The guy in the coffee shop feels disrespected when it's got absolutely nothing to do with him. The girl behind the coffee shop counter is just busy. It's not personal, but our ego thinks it's about us. It's about us. It's about me. And the classic, you go on a date and then they don't text you back. We take it so personal. It's got nothing to do with us. It's that person's ego. That person has their own preference. It's nothing to do with you. We take it so personally because we have this illusionary identity that we're all trying to protect. And we believe on some level that this identity is serving us. When really it's the gripping and the clinging and the kind of preserving and the constant wanting to show off this ego, this level of status. Because we learn that that's how we get ahead. When really it's holding us back. That's the hardest thing for people to realize. That was the hardest thing for me to realize for so long. That constantly trying to prove myself, constantly trying to get validation, constantly chasing validation. Because of what? Because without that, I'm what? I'm nobody. And that's terrifying. So where does it come from? Some people have it more than others, right? Definitely trauma definitely causes this. Because people that are secure without that, they don't need that protection. They don't need that defense mechanism. It's like they create this, and I did this for so long, create this idealized version of themselves to always live up to. This front, this mask. This is who I am, and this is the character I'm playing. Because why? Because the real me, without that, is vulnerable. And we're all very afraid of putting that vulnerable self out there. That real self. So we have these protection mechanisms. And we do this in so many ways. Exaggeration, the lying, constantly putting on a front, pretending we're confident, pretending that we're good. People that want to look good and look virtuous and signal virtuousness. It's all a front. It's all a front. It's all ego. And it's all because you care what people think. So the way that you start lowering this attachment is just to watch. Start to notice. Start to notice that when you want to prove yourself, when you want to argue with yourself, when someone cuts you up in traffic, you start to notice, what is that? What is that resistance? Who am I trying to defend? Who am I even? What is it I'm really trying to defend? Because it's not there. Underneath all of that is what we call in IFS or partswork the authentic self. The authentic self doesn't need validation. It doesn't need any of this. It's good. It's in the moment, it's present, and it's connected with everybody. It understands that everybody's doing this. And you stop caring because you see that everybody else is doing this. So you stop judging. You stop taking it personal because you realize they are being protected by their ego as well. Their parts. Their protection mechanism. They are doing it because they are protecting themselves. They don't want to be exposed. When you see two people arguing, it's just their ego arguing with the other person's ego. They're triggered because they don't want to be revealed. Someone that's defending themselves from this place of authenticity won't get into an argument. They'll just defend themselves. There's no extra. There's no ego. They need to defend themselves. Yeah. Most people don't want to do that. They can't let it go. They can't. There's a sense of self that they need to defend, a righteousness. And that's the problem with, that's where all people's problems are coming from. I don't want to get political, but certain wars right now we see in the Middle East, it just keeps going. They did this, they did, this person did this, this person did this, this person did this. It just keeps going. And yeah, like I said, I'm not going to get political, but there has to be a line. The answer is peace. The answer is love. And love isn't this forced ego love. I'm doing this for you now, so you need to do this for me. It's the dropping and the detaching and no judgment and complete compassion. Complete compassion to understand the other person. It doesn't mean you don't defend yourself. But you don't need to keep on. There's a line. It's so powerful to understand this. That's why you don't need to care what people think, because there is no you. There is nothing to protect. And have the bravery and courage to go through life with this, and you'll notice how much more peaceful you are, how much more connected to others you are, how much you just see people for themselves. You see wounded human beings rather than people to compare yourself to or fight against or prove yourself to or get approval from. And if you're always doing that, you never really live. You're just living in this version of you, this protected version of you, this mask. It's never you. You never really experience life. You're just constantly micromanaging life, constantly trying to micromanage this image. You never experience anything. You're just this character you're playing. Drop the character. Or just see the character for what it is. It's very difficult to drop the character. Maybe you won't drop the character. That's okay as well. But when someone insults you, see the character. See what they're insulting. Find it funny almost. Easier said than done, yes. And what you do is you notice. That's all you need to do, is just notice. Notice. Sometimes you're going to react. And know that you're not reacting. It's your ego that's reacting. It's that self-preservation. And then afterwards, when you do react, you do something that maybe you do regret. You say, isn't that interesting that my ego acted like that? You start separating. You start detaching. And you won't die. Here's the thing. The not you will die. The false version of you will die. But you can't die. And like I said in my other video, in order to live, you must die. And I'm talking about the ego. And the way the ego dies is, yes, you're still going to have an identity. You're still going to have that. You cannot really get rid of that if you want to exist in this world, unless you go and live in a cave somewhere, which I don't suggest. I don't suggest becoming a monk. The way that you detach from it is you just notice. You realize that you are attached. You realize it. You notice it in the moment. That's it. All you have to do is notice. That's the beautiful thing. Because that's building that presence. It's building that detachment. Presence is detachment. Noticing is detachment. Awareness is detachment. You'll notice this in procrastination. You'll notice this in fear. That there is something that you're trying to preserve. Something that you don't want to get hurt. So it becomes this game in life where you can put yourself into situations where, like say job interviews, who really are you protecting? That person doesn't know you. Yeah, maybe you're going to be nervous. That's fine. And then you quit. Everybody quits. Everybody gives up because they feel like there's something to preserve, their reputation, how it feels, it hurts. And then maybe 20 rejections later, they say, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep getting rejected. Who are you preserving? What can't get rejected? This version of you? If you were playing a computer game and you have no emotional attachment to that version of you, you could just keep getting rejected in the computer game. It's not going to change anything. So why not live your life like that? Because it's the same. It doesn't exist. It's an illusion. This sense of self, your name, your identity, all of this, stop protecting it. There is nothing to protect. And that's how you realize you don't need to care what other people think. Because they are doing the same. They're projecting. They are in their ego. They're in their parts. I think that's enough. If you enjoyed this video, or you want to book a call with me as well, also talk about these very deep topics, you like the content I'm putting out, go to this video here. Maybe I've put a link for a video here. It's amazing. And subscribe, like, comment if this helps you. If this content is helping you, comment, like, subscribe. Encourage me to make more videos like this. And see you in the next video.